All right, we're here.
We are
Uh,
here. We are here.
Hi, Melissa. Can you hear me? I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you. I can
Right.
see you.
Success.
Success.
Hi, friends. My name is Ashley with the Discover team here at Teachable. It's good to see you all joining us today. Before we dive in, if you could just do me a favor and type into the chat that you can see us and hear us. We want to make sure that we've got our our AV sorted, and also let us know where you're tuning in from. Uh, Melissa is this is like a recurring theme for us. We tend to get really global, diverse audiences tuning in to soak up some wisdom from the Curly executive, our guest today, and would love to know where you all are tuning in from as well. Like I said, my name is Ashley. I will be here throughout our presentation. I might be on or off screen, but I'll always be present in the stream, responding to questions in the chat if you have anything that you want to talk about during our session, or if you just have comments that you want to share. I'll be dropping links in as well, just to let everybody know how to access Melissa's course and some of the other things that come up during our session today. Um, one other thing, there will be a replay available of this session. So if you miss anything, don't fret, you'll be able to access the link either via this YouTube channel, or we'll email the stream out to everybody who's registered for the event. So you should get that in your email in a bit. All right, David, thank you so much from Ashland, Oregon. Oh, lovely. I have spent some time there. It's such a lovely place. I hope that it's that the weather is treating you well right now. I know that we have some pretty intense fires up and down the West Coast. Hopefully, Ashland is faring well. And looks like David says he can hear us and see us. So I'm gonna hope that that's true for everyone. Um, Mélissa Peng, aka the Curly Executive, is maybe one of the most prolific creators on these Discover Live events, which is so great because she is a font of wisdom on so many different fronts, and we have there's no exception to that today. We're going to be talking about one of the frameworks that Melissa uses in her many business development ventures that I think is really um, especially useful for folks who are kind of in the category that, and Melissa, I'll let you dive into this a bit
And
more.
multi-passionate entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Multi-passionate entrepreneur, this bucket of folks who I identify as, I think I know Melissa does as well, but folks who are brimming with ideas, and maybe the challenge point or the tension comes from identifying, all right, where should I put my focus and my energy right now? And I've heard Melissa describe this framework before, and I've internalized it, and I think about it now myself. So I'm really
Oh,
excited. I'm really excited to hear today's session and to learn from our audience. What business ventures and passions are you all exploring, and what are you thinking about? What are you hoping to learn today? So type that in. Winnie, great to see you, or see your words. Um, would love to turn it over to Melissa to introduce herself and a little bit more about our session today.
yep. So I'm Mélissa Peng, aka the Curly Executive. If you haven't met me before, I will make sure I introduce myself as we go through. As Ashley said, today we are talking about how to choose your focus, and how to choose the right business opportunity if you were currently deciding between multiple business opportunities. We'll go ahead and just jump straight into the slides, Ashley. And so,
Got it.
how to choose the right business opportunity. That is what I titled it. That is what we said we're going to work on. Hi, Tammy from Florida. Hi, Winnie. Hi, David. Please drop in the comments if you're deciding. Are you trying to choose between business opportunities? Let me know what you're trying to choose between, but also let me know why this choice is difficult for you today. I want to make sure I give you some clarity and some frameworks, like a framework that we can use to help make this decision. So our agenda today, we are going to talk about my 3 tips for choosing the right business for you. We are going to have tips that are specifically from my MPs. My name is Mélissa Peng, MP, but it also stands for multi-passionate, for my multi-passionate entrepreneurs. We're going to talk about the SWIFT framework. And as always, we have a Discover special. I do have a course that includes many frameworks that are going to help you get that right business opportunity working for you. And so we will talk about that. So with that, this is me. If you don't know me already, my name is Mélissa Peng. I also go by the Curly Executive on all my social media. I quit my job 3.5 years ago. I was a director of marketing. I'd been in corporate for about a decade, and I have my MBA from the MIT School of Management. I have worked for Procter & Gamble, Hewlett Packard, Macy's, a bunch of big companies, but also a bunch of small companies. And I have been selling things with my mom since age 7. We did Avon and Mary Kay. We have done at least a dozen network marketing businesses. It's how I grew up before I went to business school. But now I like to go by the title of multi-passionate solopreneur, and I have several small businesses, including my coaching business, which is why we're here today. I did not choose. So let me be clear. I know the title is How Do We Choose? I did not choose. And so we'll talk about that. These are some of my businesses. These are actually my websites. So Panda Beat is my dance business. We teach Afrobeat and dancehall tutorials. Club Workflow is my support community for all of my courses. I see I got some other P&G people. Hi, Vandana. I'm so excited. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from. Curly Executive, we have a brand new website coming soon, but that's up there. Camellias and Curls is my flower business. This is my flower studio. This is one of my creations. And I also have a business called Flower College. This is such a really relevant question for me even today, and for many of us who have had successful businesses that we've been running, because for me, in 2019, things took a turn. My business model changed. I had an event-heavy business model for my flower business, for my dance business, and I had to choose not between what was the right business opportunity to start, but what was the right business opportunity to pivot? What was the right business opportunity to restart? So if you are here and you're trying to figure that out, this is going to be for you too. I have decided to dub myself the launch strategy and events queen, because people are like, what do you do? I do and help my clients with all of the steps that get you to launching and some of the steps after. So this is more of my corporate life. You see vintage Mélissa there on the red carpet. I was working on at Procter & Gamble, the launch of a celebrity fragrance line in that picture. I've worked on fashion collections. I've launched attractions, theme park attractions. So that's my Despicable Me launch from NBC Universal. It was one of the record holders for the highest number of people ever in the park. They were very mad at me, but it was a great test for Harry Potter, which eventually broke my record. I've done laptops at Procter & Gamble, and I've worked with so many one-on-one clients, everything from fashion shows. We've done amazing events in New York and Paris, to truck beds and packaging companies. And now I love my life because I get to help small business owners, solopreneurs, multi-passionates create their dream businesses. And so I'm on my 5th cohort of people who have gone through my launch in full flow programs in terms of my camp. And now I do an online course as well. So that is me. This is who I am. A little bit more about me, because I want to give you context so that you understand where these recommendations are coming from. My coaching philosophy and my clients' goals are a little different. For me, happiness and sustainability trump money. I want you to create something, jump into a business opportunity that is aligned with your vision, that is aligned with your work style, that is aligned with your energy, and that is aligned with your freedom. And I mean being the full expression of yourself. You need to feel comfortable showing up as yourself in your business every day, because if not, it gets really taxing. It's one of the reasons I'm not in corporate. I absolutely love marketing. I still do it today. I absolutely do all the same things I did in corporate. I just didn't like the how I did it. Okay. So for me, This is the goal, which means that this is going to color the recommendations that I give to you today. If you are heart-centered, if you want an aligned business, if your happiness and your sustainability trumps money for you, that doesn't mean we don't want to make a lot of money. But if that is more important for you, drop me a heart in the chat. Tell me I am aligned. I want to be aligned in the chat. Tell me you're heart-centered, whatever it is. Send me a message and let me know that, okay, this is where I'm trying to go with my business. So here is the rub. I called it how to choose the right business. I know. Here's what I'm going to say now. There is no right choice when choosing what to start. If you've seen some of my presentations, you'll be like, oh my God, she did it to us again. There is no right choice. Okay. Hi, Tammy. There's no right choice when choosing what to start. There, however, may be a more efficient, more profitable, more targeted, or more sustainable choice for you. Okay, there may be a more efficient, more profitable, or more targeted, or more sustainable choice for you. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Here's the rub. Sometimes profitability, desire, sustainability are not equal. So sometimes you can find something that is more profitable, but it's not what you want to do. Sometimes you have something that's amazingly profitable, but it's not very sustainable for you. So this is where the choice gets hard. This is where we start making those tricky decisions. This is where we need some frameworks, some tips, some decision models to help us choose. So here is your first tip. Release the need to choose the right business. I want you to release the need to choose the right business. This is your first tip because there is no right. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, okay, yeah, but I really came for tips. I promise you, I'm not counting this in your 3, but this is actually your most important one. When we release the need for it to be right, we get all sorts of freedom. When we take the pressure off the choice, we can actually start and build our businesses and do what we need to do, what we came here to do. Okay? Even bad business models, and there are bad business models, ones that don't make you any money, and ones that suck all your energy, and ones that leave you unhappy. So even bad business models can turn into gold mines with the right pivots, with the right changes. I have seen a number of people come to me and say, look, this is horrible. I hate this. It makes me a lot of money, but I hate it. Or I love it, but it makes me absolutely no money. And we have done the pivot. So again, release that need for the right, because it's going to stop you from starting and it's going to stop you from getting the data that you need. Okay. This is your journey. There are no mistakes as long as you do not quit. I quote myself with that one. I've said it a couple of times. There are no mistakes as long as you do not quit. But also, there's no business if you don't start. So if you're here and you're trying to figure out what to start, let's just get you going. Here's my real tip number 1. Get clear on your vision. If you ask me what is the number 1 thing you can do to ensure that you are successful in business, it is this. Get clear on your vision. Why and what do I mean by vision? Get clear on your vision for life. When you are a solopreneur, when you are even a small business owner, your vision for life is really critical because your work takes up most of your life. Your work takes up so many hours in your day that if you just start this thing and you really haven't thought of your vision for life, you may have something that has you spending 80% of your time doing something you hate. Right? So many times I see people come in and they're like, well, this is the business. I'm doing this business. I was told this is a good business. I'm doing it because it's a good business. Good for who? Is it good for you? I'm doing this because it's going to make me money. But are you going to like it? Is it something you want to do? Are you going to have fun interacting with those people on the days where everything breaks? Where you show up and things don't work the way they're supposed to. Where maybe you have that one funky little energy person in the room and it's not a good day. Are you still going to be like, but you know what? I love this. I am here today. I am excited. This is how I see my life, right? I got to wake up today, get on Zoom, and we're talking to people all over the world. This is cool. I am happy. Does this meet your vision for your life? Right? Does it meet your vision for your lifestyle? Lifestyle. What do I mean by that? I really am talking about your life schedule, but also how much money do you need? Let's be real. If you're building in and it cannot make the money to do the things you want to do, we need to figure out if we can tweak that model. We need to decide what we want to do. So many people don't really think about what they want for their lifestyle in terms of the cost of it, but also the schedule of it. We're not realistic, right? We want to start these businesses, but we don't think that part through. So we net out with a model that does not work for us. But also your vision for your customer interactions. And I say this specifically because sometimes we think of our target customer, but we forget we actually have to interact with that person. We got to interact with them, right? So what does that look like? Tip number 2, we want you to do the mindset work. I am a self-help book queen now, right? I got my crystals. I think about my chakras. I've got a crystal bowl. We've read all the books. We're reading more books. I dig into the mindset like it's a job. Why? Because if you don't have the mindset right, the choice that you make may be very influenced by your own limiting beliefs. And sometimes the reality is we have to be limited until we get in the game and we learn and we're like, oh crap, I was limiting myself. Let me tweak that. But the earlier you start doing the mindset work, the easier it will be to get your head in the game, to make those choices, to dream, to realize your worth, right? If anyone has experienced this, knows this to be true, please drop a truth in the chat if this is resonating with anyone, right? I will raise my hand and say I have definitely been in a situation where the choices I made were not the right ones for me because my mindset wasn't quite where it needed to be yet. Because I was limiting myself, because I had some self-confidence issues, because I have fear. And so the business I jumped into was one I jumped into because I was nervous, right? Maybe I wasn't ready. Okay, so do the mindset work. Dig into your limiting beliefs. Dig into your money mindset barriers. Dig into your blockers to taking risk. These are the things that net you out with a business that doesn't work for you and that nets you out 1 year later, 6 months later saying, oh man, I didn't make that right decision. Maybe it could have been a killer decision. Maybe you could have found the pivot, but your mindset wasn't where it needed to be. So we couldn't make it the right business, even if it didn't start out as the right business. So these are the things we want to make sure we're digging into, right? Oftentimes, decisions that are not the best fit for us come from lack of confidence. Or they'll say a lack of mindset. That's a big thing too. And so digging into this is huge. And you wouldn't believe it, but I had to start integrating. So in all my courses, I've integrated a mindset exercise and a money mindset exercise and a visioning exercise. Because it's happened to me over and over again. You work with a coach, you work with a person, a client, they're very hell-bent on this is what I want to do. And now, as a long-time coach and someone who's been watching people for years, I can sit back and be like, ooh, I don't see how that makes sense. I don't see how that aligns when I ask them what they actually want for their life, not for their business. But we think about these things in silos, but also sometimes we don't make that leap because the confidence is not there because we're worried about things. This plagued me for years, because I came from a corporate mindset where the way to scale things was through manpower and money, because my framework for how I thought about things didn't align to the reality of the amazing possibilities we have now through online and through social media. The world has changed, honey. The last 10 years has gifted me a whole set of freedoms, right? That were not there before. They've gifted them to you too, right? But your confidence may not be there yet, especially with it being new. So again, dig into that mindset. And tip 3, remove the results. Don't think about results. Like, wait, what? For someone who loves numbers like I do, remove the result. Choosing the business opportunity is the visioning part of your work. Making it work comes after you've made a choice. Don't let the how stop you from making the choice around the what. Don't let the how get in the way of the what. Okay? Remove the results. And here's the big reason why. We do not control results. Big truth. How many of y'all had business plans and then the pandemic happened? We don't control the results. We don't know what's going to happen. We really don't know what's going to happen. I had all of my businesses running. Everything was profitable. I was about to speak in front of 600 people who had signed up for something. It was going crazy. A major speaking event. It was a South by Southwest, got canceled a week before. Every single speaking event, every single in-person event that I had, my 12 markets that I had planned for my followers, all got canceled. We don't control that, right? We don't know how much money something's going to make. So remove the result. We do not control the result. The right model systems and the right support systems and models can make impossible reality, right? Sometimes we think something is impossible, but the reality is we just don't know the way. We just don't know the way yet. When I add the yet. So we can find it. Everything is figure outable. We can find it. We can find the way. We can find the people to support us. There are people who make money doing all the things, everything, random things. I guarantee you can do your thing. It may take some time. It may take longer, depending on what it is. Look at the people going to space right now. It may take a whole lifetime, depending on how big your dream is. But it's possible. So those are my tips, my big 3 tips as you are here. And remember, this is the visioning part of your journey. So some of you are in this room right now struggling because you do not want to choose. It's not that you don't know what would be the right choice. You just don't want to make it. Some of you are literally here and you just don't actually want to choose. And so 1, be honest with yourself about that. But 2, dig into why. Why are you avoiding choosing? Where is the fear? Where is the fear? Because when we don't want to choose, sometimes it's the fear of the unknown. Sometimes it's the fear of the results. Sometimes it's a fear of failure. Sometimes it's a fear of judgment from others. Usually you just have to give yourself permission, but there is a fear there. So if you're not choosing and it's because you don't want to choose, let's find that fear. Let's figure out where it is. Okay. And again, I'm giving you all these tips and this stuff because you need to do this work before you even get to any kind of decision model. We got to sit with this. Remember, we are choosing where to start building your empire. I showed you what slide 4. It was, I didn't choose, but I had to choose where to start. I didn't do them all at the same time. I did some of them at the same time, and we'll talk about that. But I had to choose where to start building the empire. This is just the start. So if you're in the room and you're like, I don't want to not do some things, you'll get to them if you want to. But we are choosing where to start. Okay. So release any kind of fear around, oh my God, but I really want to do this. And what if I make the wrong decision and I'm locked in for life? None of that. And here's the crazy thing. We can change it at any time. I knew a woman once, and she challenged herself to launch 30 businesses in 30 days. And she launched 30 businesses in 30 days. And she made profit on almost all of them. In my launch course, we launch in 14 days. So we dig in and we do it properly in 14 days. You can launch them every 2 weeks if you really want to. Now, how well and stable it's going to be, we'll have to figure that out, and how much you have to back it up once you launch it. But I'm just saying this is a start. You can change it tomorrow if it doesn't feel good. You are the business owner. We have the power, right? Right? We have the power. Or I'm going to start in the chat if you are following me with this. Now, MP tip. I told you I'm going to give you some tips for multi-passionates. For my multi-passionates, this is your MP tip from Mélissa Peng. Number 1, learn to manage your energy and how you work best. I cannot say this enough. Learn to manage your energy and how you work best. When you are a multi-passionate entrepreneur, it is so important to understand how you work best, because the reality is you may be someone who can't just do one thing and be happy. That might be you, right? And we can give that labels. We can call that different things. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But also sometimes we're people who work in bursts on something, and then we stop and we take a break. And then we burst and we'll fight ourselves and be like, no, I need to be consistent. I got to figure out how to not burn myself out, how to not burst and pause. Stop fighting your energy. If that's the way you work with it. You're not in corporate. You don't have to work a 9 to 5. Maybe you do a blitz of workshops and you create content for a whole year in a couple weeks. Maybe you get everything set up, you automate it, and every so often you pop back in. You need to learn to manage your energy. We have so many systems this in this day and age, and tools and support, that you can work in the way that you want to and still make a business happen. And you may be someone who doesn't really want to work a lot, and that's cool, but that'll slow down your pace, but that's fine too. We can embrace that. I have one client and she's like, yeah, so I'm kind of going to work and then I'm going to disappear for 2 months and I'll come back. And I'm like, cool, let's plan around that. Let's make sure you've got that time. For every month you work, you need 2 months to recharge. Cool. Let's make that month the most efficient version of that month. Right? But also, you have to figure out what gives you energy. So for me, I still make flowers. I make them by hand. It sounds crazy. I can make $1,000 for a one-on-one. Why am I making a flower? Because I love it. Because it recharges me. Because it refuels me. Because that creative break gives me what I need to come back and do what I'm doing today. Right? So again, learn how to manage your energy. Learn how to work best. I can't say enough about this. Multi-passionate tip 2, listen to your callings. I use that word, callings. Sometimes we just really want to do something and it may not make 100% sense. Sometimes it's exactly what we need to do. Partly because we need to get it out of our brain so we can focus. So sometimes you may be the person that needs to follow that tangent so that you can close that loop in your head. But again, sometimes that tangent can lead to something amazing at the end of it, right? And if you're smart about it, you can take the things that you learned from this and apply it to something else. The work that I did on my dance business has been critical to me scaling and growing my Curly executive business. I know we have Vanda in the room. You worked at Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble is all about the share and reapply, right? Let's take this thing that we learned on Tampax and we're going to reapply it to Metamucil. Oh, did you see what they did on Metamucil? Can you do it on your luxury fragrance brand? Yes, I can. All of this experience, it doesn't disappear. It helps you. So again, coming back to the topic, there is no right business opportunity. It's a choice. And it's what's right for you right now. And sometimes for some of us, we need to be in that moment, and that is okay. As long as there is a plan, as long as there's tracking, as long as we understand how it's going to impact and affect the rest of our goals and those life choices. I'm seeing some cross-pollination. Yes. Okay. Yes. Build with pauses and pivots in mind. So this is my last tip for my multi-passionates, but also for anyone who's trying to do multiple things, especially if you have a side hustle. This is a side hustle. You have another job. Build with pauses and pivots in mind. At some point in time, you may need to pause or you may need to pivot. So the better we can get, especially if we're multi-passionate, at understanding the milestones of our business, the easier it is to not beat up ourselves when we need to take a little pause. But the easier it is to say, okay, I'm going to get this spun up. I'm going to get that working. I'm going to put a pin in it. I'm going to work on this and I'm going to come back to that. My dance business right now, we had no in-person classes, right? We're trying to be safe. So we launched 26 online tutorials. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's just change the homepage. We're going to focus on selling that. That's there. It's running. The funnels are running. It's happening. People are buying it. I haven't touched it in 6 months. Do I want to do it? Yeah. I miss dancing. Is it the right time for me right now with everything else that I'm going on in life? Absolutely not. Will I get back to it? 100%. How is it still running? How is it not breaking? Because before the pandemic, actually, right before it, I said, okay, people are coming through. I'm going to, sometimes we're even trying to decide on business opportunities within a brand, right? Within an opportunity. So for me, I had an opportunity to do in-person classes versus online tutorials. While I was doing my in-person classes, I said, okay, I want to eventually do online tutorials, but I'm not going to be doing that now. I think the in-person is the way to go for me right now. I want to establish this in Austin. Cool. But every time I had somebody here in Austin, I filmed them. And so when the pivot was ready, I was like, cool, let's spin those up real quick. We got that. That's running. That's still making me money. I got a nice little sum of money today. I was like, ooh, someone bought a tutorial. I'm not even promoting it. If I want to, I might come back and say, cool, I'm going to throw some Facebook ads on them. I'm going to get those running. I'll pause on that. I'll come back to it later. You can operate like that with planning. So again, for my multi-passionates, build with pauses and pivots in mind, because once you get two things up and running, you are going to have to pause from time to time on one or the other business. Okay. So those are our tips. Those are our tips, right? If you decide to do multiple things with deep planning, it is possible to make them all profitable, scalable, and sustainable. It is possible. With deep planning, though, there is a deep before the planning. Okay. And I can help you with that. But this is what I've dedicated my time to, because the reality is there are so many superstars. Rihanna just became a billionaire. How many businesses she has? She's totally a multi-passionate, right? And even though she probably has an army of people to help her now, she still has to function between all the things. It's possible. And with systems, with things like Teachable, where you can host online courses, etc., You can do so many things, even as a solopreneur today. What's important is to create that plan. So the plan of how we're going to do all those things, and to be clear on what your success metric, what is your metric for success? What is your metric for success? And that's what brings us to Swift. So Swift is all about how do you create your metric for success? How do you create your metric for success? Swift. So we are going to talk about my Swift model. This is my model created by Curly Executive. And I created it for my community of multi-passionate entrepreneurs, for my club workflow members, to help them decide between business opportunities. Frankly, also, we use it for target customers. And sometimes we even we use it to decide what we're going to do on our to-do list first. Okay. And so the idea is, if you have a combination of these, you will be able to go more swiftly in a business. So if we're deciding between opportunities, this combination gets us to the bottom line, typically faster and with less pain. Okay. So S is for scale. And so this is literally a screenshot right out of the workbook. And I'll show you that from Marketing in Full Flow. So that's what this is. But S is for scale. We do not want to start with a ceiling. If it's not scalable, can we make it scalable, or can we reject it? Also ask yourself, can this be automated? W is for worthy, right? If we don't want it, it's not worthy of our time. There are things that you want to do and that can make you money. I is for impact. Does this fit your why? Will this impact people in the way you want it to? Will it drive income? F is for freedom. Does it allow for free, authentic expression of self? Will you also have the free time you want to have? And T is for targeted. Does it address a clear pain point for people that's easy to express? Do enough people need this? So please go ahead and drop me a letter in the chat. What is something that you think, oh, wow, I really need to think about? Scale, worthy, impact, freedom, targeted. What is something that you want to make sure you're thinking of? All right. And then we're actually going to jump into the workbook, because I want to remind you of the tips as well as we look at this workbook. Boop, 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 boop. Let me get this share working for us. And sorry, y'all, I'm struggling with the share. Ashley, are you able to see that? Yay. Thank you, Ashley. So this is our Marketing in Full Flow workbook. This is the workbook that is included in the Marketing in Full Flow course, which I believe y'all have a link for. And the reason I'm showing it scale, okay, I see that scale is a big one. The reason I'm showing it is because before you get to Swift, like I said, we've got to lock in that vision. We've got to release some results. We've got to do some mindset work. So when we go through Marketing in Full Flow, the course, we actually start with a dream deep dive. So this is kind of the visioning work, and we'll see all the things that we do, but this is mapped out so that you can get to what you need before you do Swift. So I'll just run it through with you. We do a dream deep dive. So we think about your vision. We make a manifesto for you. We think about your ideal schedule. So this is what I was talking about lifestyle. We also think through who you want to help, what you want to give. So remember, we were talking about customer interactions. That's where this tip comes from. We actually think about your product as well. So what is the value you want to provide? How do you feel about that? So we think about your business opportunities. We do some planning. And then after all of that, we get to Swift. So there is some deep thought work that ideally should happen before we make this choice. But if you've done that work already, if you feel like, okay, I'm cool, I still want to just like stick it into the model will still be helpful. When you do that work before, the model is extra helpful. Okay. So in Swift, so step 1, you're going to list all of your current business opportunities. I also want you to include your personal, your community, your artistic pursuits. I do that for my multi-passionates, especially because they have a lot of things that are eating up their time. So if you have a big community commitment, you need to, and you want to weigh how that ranks, you can stick it in here too. Okay. But we have some brainstorming questions that we go through as well. Okay. What are the things that I currently do for my clients that provide a value or transformation that I don't currently charge for? What are the skills that I have and enjoy sharing that I'm not currently monetizing? It would be cool if businesses, what's a fantasy that I have, but I haven't executed because I didn't have the money or the time? Can I find a creative way for people to pay me to do it? Right? What are some things my clients or friends regularly ask for joy that I do not currently provide? So like, I'm trying to get you to do that dream, even if you didn't do the whole dream worksheet. You know, I have a woman in my neighborhood. She just styled me for a photo shoot. And I'm like, you really could do this professionally. You really have been doing this for like 10 years and you've been doing your blog. But in her head, it's not a business model, even though it's something that her clients and friends regularly ask for that she doesn't currently provide. Okay. So then once we've gotten that list, we are going to rank these business opportunities using Swift. So you are going to literally take the business opportunities and you are going to rank them in 1 through 5 on the S, on the W, on the I, on the F, and on the T. So what does that mean? So if we say, okay, I'm going to look at my flower business, Camellias and Curls, and I'm going to look at my coaching business, Curly Executive, and I'm going to say scale. What is easier to scale? And I think through, I'm like, okay, for my flower business, I would need to make the flowers. Eventually, I'm not going to be able to make all the flowers. So I would need to hire people and they're going to make the flowers for me, which may mean I might need to raise my prices just a little bit. Cool. For Curly Executive, I can do all these online courses and it doesn't necessarily require more manpower. What's easier to scale? I would say Curly Executive is definitely a 5. I might put it as a 3 for Camellias and Curls. Now, what's really interesting is also like when I really look through that, do I really want to scale that? I probably put that as a 2 personally, because you have to also like your personal value is going to come into this because that sounds like a nightmare. And the reality is it's a nightmare for me. It's not a nightmare for everybody, but it is a nightmare for me. And I actually did do that. And I hated it. I hated every bit of it. Scaling wholesale business for Camellias was something I did not like. An online business selling flower tutorials for Camellias was something I loved. In-person teaching of the how to make the flower, something I loved, right? So scale, right? We're going to rate it 1 through 5. Then we're going to rate it 1 through 5 on worthy. Do we want to do it? 1 through 5 on impact, right? Impact is an interesting one because you need to understand your why. What are you trying to do with this business? I have a clear impact goal. I want to help women start businesses, launch businesses, flourish in businesses. I want to help multi-passionate entrepreneurs feel like they can be all of themselves. I want to help my Black women who only make like 24, 25K a year on their businesses. That's not okay for me. So will this allow me to impact the people I want to impact? Yes or no? Sometimes impact is more about income for people. I need to make a bunch of money to take care of my family. They're struggling with COVID. This is me too, by the way. Will this allow me to impact the people I care about? Will this allow me to make the income that I need to make that happen? Okay. And then freedom. Can I show up and be me? Can I roll out and be me? My freedom is a lot higher in this situation than it is in corporate, right? Is it targeted, right? So Think through each of them. Rank them 1 through 5. You are going to come up with a score over 25. And you may find that some businesses score very differently. You may find you've got some 25 out of 25 businesses, and that you've got some 12 out of 25 businesses. If anything ranks under 3 in any of the areas, I would question it. I would say, ooh, that's ranking a number 1 in want. Should I just remove that from my list? Probably. Why? If it's not scalable, if it's not something you want to do, if it doesn't fit your why, if you don't feel free, and if it doesn't have a clear target, it's going to be a lot harder to sustain. It's going to be a lot harder to grow. It's going to be a lot harder to stay motivated. Sometimes staying motivated is more important than making money, because it means you won't quit and you'll actually have a business to come back to. So once we are done with our ratings, we are going to add up all the points and we are going to assign an R. So either it sucks, we're rejecting it, goodbye, Felicia, never again. This is great, but it is not working for me in the way I need it to. It needs to do more. It needs to make more. Right? So that's rework, reprioritize. I like it, but I'm not trying to do it in the next 12 weeks. So in my community club workflow, we do 12-week planning. We do think about our full year plan to a certain degree, but we plan 12 weeks at a time. Why? Because beyond 12 weeks, you're just stacking assumptions. Okay. So we will say that's in the next 12 weeks. I am not thinking about it now. I'm going to focus on what I'm focusing on right now. Or it remains 100% right now. This is what we're working on. So once you're done, for the remain, rework, reprioritize, add up your points, figure out where you are. This should give you some clarity. And that is it for Swift. That is Swift. So this is our decision framework. Now, you might say, one of these letters is not working for me. Maybe there's a different letter for you. You get to customize this. You get to decide how this is going to work for you. My goal in sharing this with you is, 1, to give you a starting point. My goal is always, frankly, to give you a starting point and to get you thinking. I also want to note that, like, the reality is you have the answer. The answer is in you. It is a decision that you get to make. It's your choice. And you are the one with the answer. And the most important thing is that we are going to dig into what makes that answer right for you. I've given you some elements, right? Scalability, targeted, right? The impact, because those are marketing elements that make things successful. If it's targeted, if it's scalable, if it's impacting people, it's going to make you money, right? But freedom, worthy, these are the things that are motivation based. So that's how I built it. But play with this. I want this to inspire you to make your own framework, to figure out your right recipe for success, for happiness, for whatever you need to get you to start. Okay? Can we jump back into the slides, please? We got a couple more slides for you. All right. So you don't have to choose, but you do have to start somewhere. You do have to start somewhere. What I mean by that, you have to choose where to start. But maybe all of your ideas are awesome and you will accomplish them all in the future, right? I like to say, like, we overestimate what we can accomplish in a day, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. If you actually focus, maybe you can get 2 or 3 up in a year. You'd be surprised. But we've got to start somewhere. And the faster we start, the faster we get there. The faster you start, the quicker we can get data. Data. You need data. You need data on whether this is right for you. You don't just need market data, right? Does this work for the customer? You need personal data. Do I like this? Does this feel good? Is it something that I want to do? We are not robots. We are not machines. We are humans. And those elements are important to deciding if this is something we're gonna be able to sell, we're gonna be able to keep doing. Okay. You may not have enough data right now. This is a reality. So many clients come to me. I have a program called Focus Flow, and I call it like the highway and the express lane. So we work together. We work together though. And the program, I launched them in 14 days, but the program lasts for 6 months. And there's a reason. It's because people come to me and they're like, oh my God, I know what I want to do. I want to do it. Cool. So we launch it. We get the website up. Everything's beautiful. Oh, wow. This is different than I thought. This doesn't feel the way I want it to. You didn't have enough data. Now that we have the data, we can spend the next 6 months tweaking it and making it what you want. Oh my gosh, I know my target customer. I'm launching this. This is exactly what they need. Wow. Okay. We figured out that they need it, but they only need a very, very small window. And it's very hard to get to them at that point in time. Do we want to keep working that way? We can. It might take another 5 years to build that. Do we want to tweak that? Okay, let's tweak it. You may not have enough data right now to make a choice. So just choose, right? Just make a choice and know that the data is going to come. You may learn best through doing. Just do it, as Nike says. Really relevant for business. We've got to let go of the ego. We've got to let go of the self-judgment. We've got to reframe failure if we're going to be successful entrepreneurs that build heart-centered businesses that are sustainable for us, that are things that we love. Okay. That's it. That is it. I like to say our time today is almost over, but the party doesn't stop. I told you that I was going to give you a Discover special today. And so, you left you got rid of my slides. Shall I talk about the special or should we take questions first, Ashley?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right.
Go for the special.
So today we're talking about the Marketing Info Flow course, which Ashley has been so kind to link for us. And we do have a special offer on Club Workflow membership that you can get through the Marketing Info Flow course. And boop, boop, boop. We have a fast action bonus. So you all have a special rate. If you join now, you can save 20%. That is a 7-day opportunity. It expires at 7 days. And we do include 30 days of Q&A support on the Curly Executive Community, which is on Circle. It is an online platform. I think I have a screen grab on it in here. And then you save $100 on our Club Workflow live support community. So the big difference is you get live support and a whole bunch of other things with it. If you join today, I did a special 24-hour special. I will say we'll make it 48 hours for people who get the replay. But if you join today and I see your purchase come in within the next 48 hours of this going live, I will give you a 30-minute one-on-one with me, which is valid through September. We have a bunch of changes happening in the club. I'm excited to meet new members, new course people, new club people, new community members, as I call everyone. And so I'm going to be gifting some one-on-ones. I'm doing this for the first time, so we'll see how I feel afterwards, but I'm really excited to do it right now for whoever buys it in the first 48 hours. This is the support community. I just wanted to give you a visual. And so you'll be able to jump in here, post your questions. I am the person who responds to these questions. I respond every single day. And this is what comes if you choose to upgrade to the live support. Like I said, when you buy the course, you get a $100 discount. We do co-working every single day. We have live Q&A. We do recorded critiques. We have mindset events. We have monthly workshops. We have quarterly planning sessions. So we have all the things in this, and it is $6 to $9 a day. So I like to say that I am the price of your Starbucks. If you order the venti drink that I order, I'm all of your Starbucks. If you are a little bit more economical, then I'm a coffee and a croissant. And so the other thing I'm offering you for you today, so one, take advantage of those offers, but you can get your homework, which is the Swift worksheet. I want you to actually use Swift. So if you want the Swift worksheet, you can find the link in my IG bio. It's the same name as this event. If you go through there and register, you'll get the homework. If not, the direct link is here. It's called curlyexecutive.com/choose right business. So that is going to give you the worksheet. I get messages all the time of like, how do I get the worksheet? So I made a way for you to get the worksheet today. Also, we're back tomorrow. I don't know if you knew this, Ashley. I hope you're my host, but we are back tomorrow for Find Your Figures. I'm going to teach my MIT framework. You are going to learn the 3 numbers that you need for your business plan. I call them my 3 must-have numbers. And that is happening tomorrow. Also, this is me on Instagram. I do post up these things. So if you want to make sure you don't miss an event, certainly subscribe to Teachable Discover. But I have a whole host of events, some on Teachable, some that I do myself. So definitely check me out on Instagram. And I think this is the last slide for us, which is that I counted and we have impacted 3,014 women so far this year, women-owned businesses with our free or reduced price workshops, courses, and grant programs. And we had a goal of 2021. So I'm super excited to say that we've achieved it. That's my little money bell. But I still need to hit my goal of serving 1,011 Black women. I wanted 50% to be Black women. And so if you are here, and this is everybody, please fill in my impact form. It helps me keep up. I'm trying to hold myself accountable for putting information out there in an easy way for people. I like to say I'm trying to get everybody right by Black Friday and holiday, whether it's via my free services or my paid courses. So please come through. And that's it. Thank you. How did we help you today? What questions do you have? That is where we're ending today.
Yes, thank you, Mélissa. Audience, please join me in thanking the host of our workshop today, Mélissa, for generously giving of her time and wisdom. And if you do have questions, drop those in the chat. We can stick on for another couple of minutes or so. But thank you, Mélissa, for providing us with this very practical, very usable information. I was commiserating with Tammy in the comments about scalability and trying to figure out, all right, which of these Swift letters is the one that I need to focus on the most. And so I'm going to be thinking about that as I go through the rest of my my business plans for the next few weeks here.
Awesome.
Just to let everybody know, this replay will be available. You'll be able to access it, and that amazing rate that Mélissa mentioned, you can just click on the link that is pinned to the top of the comments here on the YouTube stream, and then it's also in the chat for easy access. So check that out. And yes, I will be seeing you tomorrow. And hopefully we'll see all of you back tomorrow. And just, just go ahead and stack the learnings on top of each other. You may as well, this is, I was telling Mélissa the last time we had an event together that we should just offer like a university level degree in Curly executive.
Miss Cove, thank you so much. She's like, this is my second workshop, and I it was so helpful. Thank you. I'm excited to see you back.
And hopefully we will see everybody tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Mélissa, thank you so much. It's always wonderful
Thank you.
to have you.
Thank you. I'm still laughing at your degree of Mélissa. What's funny is I think that's Launch in Full Flow. It's the course we're selling tomorrow. So that will be that. But thank you so much for having me always. I truly just truly honored to be here. And my businesses wouldn't exist without Teachable. So it's fun to be here with Teachable Discover. Really appreciate y'all.
So glad that we can play a part in that empire.
Hey.
Thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you again soon, hopefully tomorrow. If not, then on the internet. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.